shortly here, we should see this YouTube live stream receive the RTMP feed from Playback. And there we are. It looks like we are live on YouTube. And as we can see my YouTube screen share within YouTube. So now we've got a little bit of a YouTube inception going on. So YouTube, the easiest, honestly, simulcast to set up. Highly recommend you guys do this. Like, it's free to do as well on YouTube. When we get into Twitter, it does require a paid account, but YouTube, very, very, very simple to do, and also has a massive audience that you can reach. So if you don't already have a YouTube channel associated with your Playback channel, highly recommend you go ahead and start a YouTube channel and start simulcasting as many of your Playback streams over to YouTube as possible. Now to show you what the TikTok setup looks like. What the Twitter setup looks like, I should say. So what you'll want to do on Twitter, and again, you will need a blue check mark. So you will need to be a Twitter premium user. Twitter also, Mike Weisberg, I said, called out a very similar process. Yes, it is. Just takes one sort of additional setup rather than automatically getting that RTMP URL and stream key like YouTube does when you go to set up your live stream. You actually, in Twitter, you go to your studio.x.com to head to your Twitter studio. If you click on sources, this is how you can go ahead and set up an RTMP source. So I already have our RTMP source set up for Playback, but let's say I was setting up a new source. I would hit create source in the top right here. I would name the source. I always recommend naming it Playback, or maybe your room name if you're going to have multiple rooms that you're going to be simulcasting from. Go ahead and make sure you name it something so you know which room is associated with this particular RTMP source. The source type you want is RTMP. And then you want to select a region that is closest to your home region. So for me, I would select US West here for Northern California. And then I could go ahead and create this source. Once you've created that source, what it looks like, let me just give this a refresh. It'll look like this. So when I click on that source, now I have my RTMP URL and my stream key. So again, those are the two inputs that you need on the Playback side to go ahead and start your simulcast. So once you're ready to go ahead and create your broadcast to simulcast, you can head over to the broadcast section, hit create broadcast in the top right. You'll go ahead and name your broadcast. So what did we have this session named? Let me double check here. So we called this, how can a second screen experience help you get more viewers? The category is going to be sports. The source is going to be Playback. Again, this is why it's really important to name your sources. I know this is the Playback room because it's named Playback. If I were in the main stage room, I would know I'd be selecting main stage instead. You want your audience to be set to public. Chat is totally up to you. I prefer to allow everyone to chat. I do turn on hearts, and we want this to go ahead and start immediately. So let me toggle on my Twitter simulcast here in Playback and then hit create broadcast. On my Twitter simulcast here in Playback. Last call out, go ahead and mute your simulcast here on Twitter. Otherwise, trying to host while this audio is sort of repeating after you is going to drive you insane. It's happened to me before, so make sure you go ahead and mute the Twitter simulcast. But now we are live on both YouTube and Twitter. And the last recommendation I have, as always, is make sure you occasionally speak to your simulcast audiences. So right now, you folks on YouTube, on Twitter that are watching this, come on over to Playback, playback.tv/playback, or download the Playback app. This is where you're going to be able to ask questions for the AMA. This is where you're going to be able to win potentially this red Playback hat by participating in Playback trivia. And another strategy you can use is you can even shut down your simulcast if you really want to drive your audience to Playback. Let's say the fourth quarter is getting really tight and you really want to incentivize your YouTube audience and your Twitter audience to join you on Playback. Say, hey, YouTube folks, Twitter folks, love you. It's been an awesome time, but we're shutting this down. You got to come over to Playback if you want to watch the rest of the game and rock with us. We've seen that work tremendously well. So I do encourage you to think of your second screen audience as a way to grow your viewership. And over time, you will be able to convert them into Playback users. As they see what you're able to do on Playback, as they see what the actual live game use case looks like, they'll over time move from being, Twitter Spaces consumers, YouTube consumers, over to Playback consumers in your Playback room. So do absolutely set up simulcasts. Again, I recommend YouTube and Twitter are really easy to set up. You will need Twitter Premium to do this on Twitter, but it is a great way to grow your audience. And it's also a big focus, a big point of emphasis for our team over here on Playback, because we know all of your users don't have subscriptions to watch the games with you, and we want you to still be able to offer them an exceptional experience. So with that, let's head back into our slideshow. And I will start answering some questions first on Simulcast and Gamecast layouts, as I've seen they've come into chat. Let's see here. Yeah, so Simulcast for Fede Valverde, and I see that Kaiza answered as well. The Simulcast view will not show the game broadcast. We, of course, don't want your YouTube channel or your Twitch channel or anything like that to get hit with a copyright strike. So we don't pass the copyrighted content along. One big call out, because I made this mistake once. If you do have any screen share going in your room, that will be passed through to your simulcast destination. If you look here in the bottom left, that's an example of a creator screen sharing an ESPN box score. So be careful, again, first and foremost, not to screen share copyrighted content on Playback in general. That's not an activity that is allowable under our partner program. And also, if you are simulcasting while you screen share this stuff, you are going to get hit with a copyright strike on platforms like YouTube. So make sure you're using your Playback remote in the bottom left to play live TV content in your Playback room so that you don't get hit with a copyright strike on your simulcast channels. Is a box score a copyright violation? No, it is not, Mike Weisberg. So that would be literally like screen sharing the actual game is what I'm talking about avoiding. Do not screen share the actual game. Let's see. Other questions on simulcast. TikTok simulcasting. So we don't host it natively, as Kaiza said, but there is a workaround for it. I have tested this. You can use a platform called Restream, and I'll actually link them here. I believe the website is restream.io. It is. So Restream will actually give you an RTMP URL and stream key that you can use. And you can then use a production software like OBS. OBS is what I used in this case to go ahead and send your OBS feed to Restream. So you can simulcast basically that OBS feed to Restream, and then your simulcast to platforms like YouTube and Twitter and things like that would take our layout format. So you won't get the default Playback layout when you're using Restream. You're going to have to set up your own custom layout for the simulcast to TikTok using Restream. I hope that answers that question. And let me go back and pin, if we can. There we go. So just pin the link to the help documentation on helping you set up your simulcasts. Y'all, I cannot recommend this enough. Again, not all of your users, probably not even the majority of your users, are going to have a TV subscription. Set up a YouTube channel. Go get Twitter Premium. Simulcast all of your watch parties there. Again, make sure you're speaking to your simulcast audience, and occasionally take it exclusive to Playback. Let them know you're going to shut down the stream on platforms like YouTube and Twitter, and everyone needs to hop in the Playback room. And I don't think we have any more questions on simulcast. Cool. And if you do have any more questions on simulcast, we can get to that at the end during the AMA. Now it's Playback trivia time. I almost showed the question too early. Again, whoever gets this answer right is going to get one of these red Playback hats shipped to them. You can go ahead and email me to get the win. If Max is still in here, I stole your swag on this one with a trivia. Max does our trivia over at the land. So I figured it goes so well over there. Why not try to replicate it over here? Spelling does not matter. Whoever types the answer correctly first in chat is our winner. Get those Twitter fingers ready. Here comes the question. What is the tagline at the top of Playback's creator website? And there is a hint. It rhymes. First correct answer in chat. is going to get one of these bad boys shipped to him. I do not see it yet. And you can navigate to the creator website if you know the URL. If you know how to find it, navigate there and you'll see it. Playback, big back. We're going to get some ideas here too. Playoff Sports Network. Oh, just barely got in ahead of Downhill Dez. Oh, Downhill Dez, you were so close. It is Stream as a Team, which is a reminder to all of you that Playback is a collaborative community platform. So if you're creating all by yourself, first of all, kudos to you and more power to you. That is quite the time commitment and quite the effort. So genuinely kudos to you. But also go find some help, whether it's a community member, a friend, a family member, someone that you know would make a good addition to your team. It is so much nicer when you stream as a team. I can guarantee you that. You're going to be able to grow faster. You're going to be able to do more for your community. So do make sure that you think about expanding your team a little bit when it comes to streaming from your playback room. And it is funny how, Playoff Sports Network is the one that got it. Clearly, they get the idea of streaming as a team. So with that, it's AMA time and Playoff Sports Network. I don't even need to drop my email address. You definitely have it. So go ahead and email me with an address that I can go ahead and ship a red playback hat to. Congrats to Playoff Sports Network for winning the playback trivia today. Hit me with stage requests, folks. Come on, ask me some questions. Don't be shy. You can also drop questions in chat, and I'll get to them after I get to the stage requests. We do have a stage request. Chewy, my guy Chewy. What's going on, Chewy? Welcome to This Week on Playback. What's your question?
Hey, can you hear me?
Sure can. Loud and clear.
So I've been using the Simulcast for a while, and I use it for both my personal account on Twitter and the community account. When you have it streaming to two different Twitter accounts, can that cause a conflict? When we make a post from the Twitter studio site, sometimes I get an error that says media cannot be played on Twitter. But when I go to the studio, it seems as if it's working fine. But on Twitter, it's not displaying.
Okay, so just to clarify, when you go, let's say you go on your phone on Twitter, it says media can't be not supported or whatever you said. But when you view it from your computer from the studio view, it looks like it's playing just fine.
Correct. Yeah, and I hear if I say something live on playback, I hear it on the studio 2-3 seconds later. But on Twitter, it's not displaying.
Gotcha. Let's follow up on that. Definitely hit us up, Chewy, in your Discord channel, because that should not be happening. Not a behavior I've seen. So it could be because you're simulcasting to two Twitter sources simultaneously, although that shouldn't cause an issue. So let's follow up on that. Great question. Hit us up in Twitter, Chewy. In Discord.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Appreciate you. Appreciate the question, Chewy. Yeah, Kaiser said you should be able to simulcast to multiple Twitter pages. So we'll get that fixed for you. We'll figure out what's going on there. Mike Weisberg, hit me with that stage request. It's been accepted. Come on up, my man. Mike, what's going on? Welcome to This Week on Playback. What's your question, man?
So I don't know how many creators are in here are aware. One, congrats again on the raise.
Thank you.
Awesome. For those who aren't aware, Playback raised a ton of money through a bunch of different VCs, a little over 20 million on the raise. How is that going to impact us as creators? I know you haven't rolled anything out yet, so you guys may not actually have anything to share yet, because some of this may be on the backside. But if there is anything to share, what would that be?
Great question, Mike. Great question. So, yeah, as Mike mentioned, you can Google this and find out all the details on our raise, but we raised some money to go ahead and keep this thing going so that we can continue, obviously, things like the creator fund, which comes directly out of VC funds. It's really expensive to run a live streaming platform like this as well. So there is just some housekeeping and upkeep that we have to do on that front as well. And then also continuing to chase down these league and network partnerships, not cheap. And so we're going to be looking at lots of options to basically make this the best place for creators to monetize. And you got to spend money in order to make money is sort of the old adage. And so that's sort of where we're at, right? we're going to spend in order for all of our creators to be able to make down the line. So we will continue to strive to be the best place for creators to monetize. And this is only scratching the surface, right? So like you guys have seen things like power chats and room subscriptions. We're just getting started on that front. And on top of that, the partner fund is not going anywhere. Like our vision is to keep that partner fund going as long as possible. And honestly, hopefully we never have to get rid of it. But in a scenario where we do sunset the partner fund, it would only be because you guys have a much better way of earning, right, than just through your room metrics. So essentially, we're going to use those funds to go ahead and make the platform even more robust, give you guys more features, and ultimately help you guys in your communities have more fun and put more money in your pockets. That's our goal over here at Playback. So you guys have been rocking with us this long. I think you've seen that we've made some steady progress, right? One step at a time, brick by brick, and we're going to continue to do it that way. And appreciate you, Mike. Thank you for dropping that tweet. So yeah, if you guys want to check out the details of the raise, and it was led by 776, which is Alexis Ohanian's fund, co-founder of Reddit. Go ahead and check out that info and really appreciate the love, Mike. We've got another stage request. It's Lakers Ave. It's been accepted. Come on up, Lakers Ave. What's going on, Lakers Ave? Welcome to This Week on Playback. What's your question?
Yo, what's good, BTow? What's up,
good?
Playback family? Hey, I had a couple questions in regards to a few like technical difficulties. As of right now, like it kind of just happened, so it's perfect that it did just happen. The first question was like the audio and like switching over from like going from being in the audience to being on stage. Like as of right now, the audio just went from my speaker onto my earphone. So I'm not sure if there's like a technical bug or something like that, but sometimes it does it to where like the audio will go through into my earpiece, and I'm not sure how to like change it from the earpiece feature to the speaker feature. I'm just, that was just the first thing. So that was the first instance that popped up. So if we can get something with that, that would be sweet. I think it would be sweet if we. Oh, sorry.
Are you on your computer or are you on the mobile app?
No, we're on mobile.
You're on mobile right now. Do you see when you're on mobile your mic icon where you would basically mute yourself?
Yeah.
Do you see the arrow next to it?
No.
No? So you can't select a different mic input. Okay. I will have us follow up with you on that. Are you on our Discord server?
Yes. I can screenshot what I'm seeing and then I'll just, follow up with the image.
Yeah, go ahead and hit us up in the support channel in our Discord server. Send that screenshot of what you're seeing. We'll get you taken care of, man. Should be relatively straightforward. And did you have another question?
Yeah, and I usually make like a list before I come in here on Thursday, so I'll just do a couple. This one I thought would be a pretty cool idea as far as just for creators and just having other creators that tap into your room and you want to join their room. I think it would be cool if you had an option to like click on their profile name and see their room underneath their profile so that we can essentially follow them directly from that versus going into, different leaps and bounds to, or going through the search bar. It'll just be very convenient for the creative aspect and just wanting to support other creators that tap in versus having to leave your playback and then search it. I think that would be kind of cool. And then I have one more question.
Yep.
Oh, this is the most important. I'll throw this one out there. There's a thing where like I would say like just turn it off or maybe turn down the frequency that playback cuts your stream off for being idle. Not always you're on the chat or not always like in a position to tap the phone. You might be interacting or engaging on another platform, or you might be on, just in a position not to be there at that moment. Like, for instance, when you're watching TV, you don't necessarily grab your remote and press the volume up or down before your TV turns off. So that was like the analogy to kind of wrap my head around it. Like, just so like, because there'd be instances where you're streaming and then you just can't get to that point, and then it's like, damn, the stream ended because you weren't in a position to click that part. So that was just my only thing as far as that goes. Sometimes I wouldn't say it ruins the experience, but just having to constantly go in and click that button or else your stream will end. It kind of gets a little annoying sometimes. So I think that would be just kind of cool to tap into to see what we can do. But I appreciate you answering my questions and let me come up to stage. Shout out to Playback. Let's go.
Shout out to you, Lakers Av. Appreciate you coming on stage, not being too shy. Really do appreciate you coming on and interacting. So the sort of user profile feature is one we absolutely need. Like being able to click on a user and see like what rooms they're a creator in, even for them to be able to link their social profiles to that might help some of this impersonation issue, might help collaborations across the platform. So user profiles are absolutely something that we're going to work on. I did go ahead and drop the link again to our Canny to collect product feedback. Again, Kevin's looking at that all the time. User profiles is not one you need to add there. It's definitely already on our radar and something we're going to be working on. But if there is something else that you want us to go ahead and add and prioritize adding to Playback, please do drop it there in Canny. And also every so often, go ahead and check that Canny out so you can see everyone else's idea and leave an upvote on those ideas that you want us to go ahead and prioritize. I also dropped a poll in chat. I'm going to need you all to hit a vote on that poll. So Lakers Av was calling out the like, are you still streaming CTA? Give us your feedback here live on that. Are you still streaming CTA? I know us over at the land, we've had our own sort of back and forth trying to deal with it as well. So completely understand your pain point there, Lakers Av, and thanks for hopping on stage. We've got another stage request, this time from Napster. Request has been accepted. Is it the real Napster? Seth Green from Ocean's 11? What's going on, Napster? Welcome to This Week on Playback. This is BTow. What's your question?
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on?
First of all, congrats again, and thank you for making this platform, to help, creators like myself and our team also, grow. So I have two questions, because one being, because I know, right now it's heavy involved with sports, but like because we're slowly growing also a wrestling community. So when it comes to the wrestling, do you, by any chance, see like any possible like ability so we can start streaming like some wrestling? Because sometimes when we do, uh, when we share our screen, it gets really really laggy. So sometimes we had to just cut it off because it's too laggy. Versus like how you would normally just stream
Yep.
the game and then everyone can see and it's consistent. And I was having the same issues that Lakers Av was having. I had to close everything out and it was
The
able
audio.
to work. Yeah.
I saw you
But
mention
yeah,
that.
that was my first question. So
Awesome. And you know what? I'll go ahead and answer that now. First, gonna ask you a question. When you say wrestling, just want to clarify, like WWE, AEW.
yeah, WWE, AEW, even some of these like some of these other like promotions like MLW and AAA and CML. So
Yeah, I just dropped my email address here in chat. Send me an email on this. We can see what we can do to get you like maybe a more reliable stream for some of your users to go ahead and watch with you. As far as official partnerships with sort of these entities, as you know, like Monday Night Raw is now exclusive to Netflix, I believe. So that's one that we can't support. We don't quite yet have communications going with Netflix, but on the sort of other WWE entity front, potentially some headway here. So just some knowledge for you all. On the WNBA side of things, we're really trying to get something going for this season. It's still very much TBD, but the same folks that handle the WNBA streaming side of things, Endeavor, actually also do WWE, UFC. So there is some synergy there. No timelines yet, unfortunately. But again, Napster, hit me up at that email address and we'll see what we can do in the meantime to try and get some wrestling streaming for your community.
oh
And
yeah,
what was your second question?
so my second question was because like I'm also starting to notice like more like even though at the moment it's heavily with PC gaming, but will you guys also eventually, because I don't know if you saw the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out, and they
Yep.
have now that they're focusing more on the video, not only you just playing but also showing the person that's playing.
Yep.
Like, is that something also that's could be coming in the possible future for playback, that you can get on the, say you're playing from the Switch, but if you have like a playback and you know how like you would normally do on Twitch and everything, kick. Is that something also that you guys are also looking into doing in the future?
Absolutely. It's actually we can support it now through production software like OBS, but making this use case, the gaming use case, easier. It's sort of making other use cases easier as well, kind of like that live podcast use case, any use case that doesn't really involve watching a live game. So absolutely, we want you to be able to stream not only your live sports over here at Playback, but your gaming, your trade deadline conversations, your free agency conversations. People do karaoke on here. People will just do like album watch parties. Anything you want to hang out with your community for and do and or watch, we want to support ultimately over here at Playback. So you will see us look to continue to support more and more use cases as time goes on. Eventually, I imagine political pundits hopping on here, streaming the State of the Union with their communities as well. So it should be some of everything here at Playback when it's all said and done.
Thank you again for having me. You have a wonderful day.
I appreciate you, Napster. You take care. Thanks for hopping up. Any other stage requests? If not, let's go ahead with questions in chat. Rewind feature launch, Chewy. I see Kaiser responded, should be ready in 2 to 3 weeks. And a reminder for those of you that missed the rewind this week on Playback, you can hit the replays down here in the Playback room to go ahead and rewatch that session. But it will allow you guys to scroll backwards while the stream is still live, as well as sync yourself up with the stream in case, you're watching on your TV or Stream East or something like that. You'll be able to sync up with the game. And one of the biggest benefits of rewind mode going live is that we will no longer have to force a delay on our live sports broadcasts. So we will have the most live NBA League Pass feeds in the world. So you live sports bettors, you people that hate getting plays spoiled and all that stuff, no worries once rewind feature launches. Other questions in chat. Oh, got another stage request. Lakers Ave is back. Request has been accepted. What's going on, Lakers Ave? You got another question for me?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you inviting me back up here. Yes, since nobody would pop up here, I might as well get another question in. There was a glitch that I was dealing with as far as the pins go in the room. And they were showing multiple of the same pin. I'm not sure if anybody brought that up to you guys' attention, but when I unpinned it, it took every one of them down. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that was like something that you guys noticed and that, could be looked into. And then one more that I kind of like, I think will be a good idea, especially for like, if you want to go back and chat and look up for, like past previous chats. Let's say, for example, so my idea for it is essentially to go way back up in the chat, or essentially just have a chat search. For example, I want to showcase my first sub and my first subscriber, but I can't essentially go way back to when he did. But it would be awesome if I could just spotlight it whenever he's in here, show other people, hey, maybe a Lakers Ave chat or a Lakers Ave playback room, but to be honest, my first subscriber between me and you guys was a Celtics fan. And I never in a million years
I love that.
imagined that a Celtics fan would subscribe to my channel. But it just shows that regardless of our competitiveness on the court, we can still come together as a sports community and, as fans together, regardless of our team and our likeness. So I think it's cool. But I just want to spotlight that, previous chat. I thought that would be kind of cool as well.
Yeah, quick question.
Yeah, that's about it. I'll leave the rest for next week.
quick question on that. How far back would you want to go in chat? Like, would it be okay to just have all the chat from like that current stream, or would you want to go even further back than that?
I think as in regards to that sub, because it was a while ago, I think it would be necessary to go way back, but I know it'd probably be a lot to add to do that. But I think at least to go to the back of the end of the stream would be kind of cool as well too. Okay. So you at least can see what you missed, when you come back into the stream, that way you won't be able to miss it. I think that'd be cool as well. Because essentially you'll be able to go back to rewatch the stream and go into the chat and see everything, right? So it would essentially work because you can rewatch the old stream and then the chats from that stream will pop up, right? So you can find it like that too. So I think it'll work.
Absolutely.
What you think?
I think it's a great call out, Lakers Ave. I like the idea. I've actually sometimes been trying to find a chat, like a previous chat message, and I scroll all the way up and I realize, well, it's gone now. It happened too long ago. So completely understand where you're coming from there, Lakers Ab. And on the pin chat message thing, that is a known bug. That's something that we have seen. And I maybe meant to raise it to the team, but did not. But I have noticed that as well. So we'll get on that as far as like multiple versions of that pinned message showing up in your chat drawer there. That as well. So we'll get on that. Just a little bug to fix there. Let's see. Any other questions? I see a lot of people talking about Ja Morant. Probably because I didn't put periods between J and A. We were talking Jared Allen, went to Ja Morant. Fede Valverde, will it be uploaded in Spanish? We do not have replays in Spanish right now, but if there's any questions you have, definitely hit up our Discord. I'm going to reply to your message here in chat right now. And the link to our Discord is discord.gg/playback. Hit us up in Discord. We do have a Spanish speaker section there. Ask us your questions there. We'll go ahead and reply en español. Muchas gracias. Any other questions? Andrew Mew says, what other leagues are going to be on Playback? Depends on what time frame you're talking about. If you're not giving me a time frame, I'd say all of them. If you're giving me sort of a near-term time frame, leagues we're working on but don't have any update to give you all as of now. The WNBA, I did also mention WWE, UFC are things we want to add. But honestly, if you guys have suggestions for what we should add next, and more importantly, if you have warm intros to any of the decision makers over there, let us know. We're always trying to have conversations, and the more angles that we can approach these leagues from, the better. So that even comes down to you all on socials, tagging at NFL Commish. Hey, Goodell, when Playback, when NFL on Playback. Like if you have a sport, you want NHL on Playback, tag the NHL, tweet at them, hit them up on socials. The more noise that we make and the more angles we can hit these leagues from like all directions, the faster these deals get done. So definitely help us out on this front. We're doing our work. RJ is definitely hot on the campaign trail, adding more leagues and content partners. But the more folks they hear that they need to partner with Playback from, the faster they're going to do it. I appreciate that, Oakland 1990. Playoff Sports Network just won one of these hats. So make sure you continue to tune in to This Week on Playback every single week. You just might win a giveaway, just like Playoff Sports Network did today. And reminder to you, Playoff Sports Network, send me an email with a mailing address that I can go ahead and ship you one of these pretty red Playback hats to. It looks like that will do it for our questions, which means that'll do it for this episode of This Week on Playback. Reminder, start those YouTube channels. Get Twitter Premium, start simulcasting, folks. Your second screen audience is a great way to grow your Playback community. So don't take them for granted and make sure to shout them out every once in a while. So you folks on Twitter and YouTube right now, I appreciate you rocking with me. Next time, come to playback.tv/playback or download the Playback app so you can maybe win one of these awesome red hats or ask me a question, hop on stage, all that fun stuff. Be in the chat. You already know what it is. Hey, my Playback players, I appreciate you for joining me for another episode. I'm your boy BTow. We'll be back next week on Thursday, same time, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you then. Until then, have a great week and happy streaming. Later, y'all.